Zoetis is an American drug company, really near and dear to my heart. I have 3 dogs, so I know they certainly have kept up with one's 17, one's 6, and one's 1. So I know especially how important and critical that is. So I'm delighted to have him here today. Ashutosh, are you able to come off of mute?
Yep, I'm here. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. So as Ryan introduced, Zoetis is world's largest animal health company. It was spun off from Pfizer 10 years back. And I joined the implementation of the systems back then. So I'm here in Zoetis from 2014. Overall, I have 16 years of experience, been in many roles. Ryan gave introduction of myself when we started this webinar. But as Ryan was presenting these health checks, that kind of reminded me all the issues that we were facing 2 years back when we opted for the health check, Pragma health check service. Now, going back to, I'll just introduce as in how our landscape looked like. So we have 6.0.3 Sterling version. It's there from 2015. It's our global platform. We manage a lot of different applications, SAP and non-SAP with that. Docker-based deployment, as you can see, 400 plus interfaces in it and 35,000 daily file transfers. That's what we do. Now, why we opted for Pragma Health Check, and our relationship with Pragma goes back more than 4 years. Pragma was the one that came in and helped us with the upgrade of our Sterling from version 5 to version 6 back in 2019, 2020 timeframe. And start of 2021, you can say, or end Q3 of 2021, that's when we started facing a lot of issues in Sterling. There were so many escalations going around because it's a global platform. So file delivery, if it's getting delayed for a number of interfaces, that was a P1. We had a number of those, and it was like all houses going down. But then when I reached out to Pragma, they suggested this health check service. So I opted for that. We did that. That was in Q4 2022. Yeah. So, I mean, it says 6 to 8 weeks, but Ryan did say that the actual work was 2 weeks, but then there's a lot of negotiation that goes on to enable Pragma team to do that work. That why it took like 6 to 8 weeks. But all of those recommendations that came out were really eye-opening. What Sumit highlighted earlier, what Ryan highlighted earlier, that there were regular health check jobs which were not running, which you don't even realize till the system works fine. On the database side, there was so much tuning that has to be done. And as as the output of this health check service, the document that was generated was quite detailed. And I really like that because it was like 25, 30 pages document. It was going into the nitty gritties of the Sterling, highlighting what all services has to be, what parameter you need to optimize, what health check job should be running, what your debt reduction should be, what your time frame should be, as Ryan was saying, 2 weeks. That's the standard. But it took us 3 months because obviously we can't get a downtime. It's a global platform. So we had to plan around our single maintenance window that we have every month. We put in those recommendations. Then post that till now we are running quite fine. One eye-opening recommendation that did come out, and I want to touch upon that before I move on to FileGPS, is that we were not even utilizing the license we were uh, licensed for, as in we were not utilizing our full license capacity. And I didn't have the background of it, but then when this came out, we tuned that. We also increased our CPUs and whatnot. And all of that came together as a stable platform. Our utilization is averaging out under 40% after the health check service, which was hitting 100%. And we had 3 downtimes that happened before we opted for the health check service. So it was really of great help. And everybody appreciated that at our end. Now moving on to the next slide.
Yeah, thanks.
Go ahead,
I think
Ryan.
that's a really great point, especially around so those recommendations. I think you kind of mentioned it, is that we work with you very, very thoroughly through those health checks, and to your point, it does take time to get those into the server. So introducing those over time, and it's really a good practice too of not implementing everything at once, so we know exactly what changes. So great insight there. So thank you for that.
I know, Ryan not touched upon this FileGPS piece yet. So after our experience with the health check service, what we were looking for is more of a proactive solution. Now, I've given 3 examples, and I believe a lot of people here might relate to that, that we have a critical bank interface file that has to come in at certain time during the month-end process. It has to be processed within a certain time frame. That didn't happen. Similarly, a partner made a change. Nobody was made aware. The communication didn't go out from them, or it went out to a person who is not in the company. So those kind of things were happening quite frequently, even though system was running fine. But these are not of system issues, but more of a catching things that break before they actually break. So that's when we again reached out to Pragma and we asked them that, okay, what is a solution that can help us in these kind of scenarios? After a lot of discussion, they suggested FileGPS solution. FileGPS is more of a proactive monitoring solution for Sterling. We deployed this last year in Q3 of 2023. And after that, we have put in, I mean, as part of the project deployment, Pragma team put in 10 alerts. These alerts are kind of file not received alert or file load alert, uh, which means that say if a bank file has not come in, within 1 hour of it, we will be alerted. Or say a file or critical interface that has to run every day at 2 p.m. That file didn't either there was an issue in the system that was sending it, or we didn't receive it in time. Again, we will get an alert. And one very recent example that I did put in here was that just 2 weeks back, SFTP, we had an issue that there's certain part of SFTP, incoming SFTP, which was not working. Obviously, it was caught up 6 hours with a 6-hour delay. There was so many piles. There was a red team call. We had an IBM support team. It was a mess, and it went on for like 10 hours. The whole issue end to end. The RCA came in, but it was like it took time for even IBM support team to dig into it because it was a weird issue that only SFTP is working, but a certain piece of it is not working. We utilize the FileGPS, and now we have put in an alert that if we don't receive a file within 30 minutes of, say, after 30 minutes, our frequency is 20 minutes, we receive a file every time during the weekdays. We put in an alert that if for 30 minutes we have not received a file, it will send us an alert and we will start digging into it right away instead of waiting and spending these 10 hours afterward when it happened. So this is also a very great solution. And the other thing that Ryan was mentioning around the dashboarding, this has such nice dashboards that I can go in and I can check that, okay, how many files are we doing? What time of the day files are moving? How much load we are putting on the system and all of that. So this is also a really great solution that we got from Pragma Edge. And I really like our partnership and I want to continue. And as Ryan was saying that because we are 6.0.3, we have to operate this year. So that project is coming later in the year. And we will be working with Pragma team for that as well.
Yes, thank you so much, Ashutosh. I know you're such a busy man. Thank you for taking some time out of your day. I know that you kind of mentioned going back to here, you are running containers today. That's one thing with 6.0. 6.0 did introduce Docker containers, so you guys were one of the first on that forefront there. So at the bleeding edge, and we're looking forward to working with you. I know you have a lot of big projects coming up this year. Yep. But any questions for Ashutosh, feel free to put those in the chat. I thank you for joining us, Ashutosh, to share your story.
Thank you.